Imagine this. You're sitting in a courtroom, the air so thick with tension, it feels like you can't quite breathe. Your eyes dart to the man sitting at the defendant's table, your husband, charged with the brutal murder of another woman. And here you are, his lawyer, defending not just his innocence, but the very foundation of your now unraveling marriage. That's the heart of the perfect marriage. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Book Club Lounge. I'm your host, Sarah Bridgewater, and today we're diving into a story that's equal parts suspenseful, gripping, and emotionally charged. Before we get started, just a quick note. This discussion may include minor spoilers, but I'll do my best to keep the biggest twists intact. If you haven't read The Perfect Marriage yet, I highly recommend grabbing a copy. There's an affiliate link in the episode description to support the show. Now, let's get into it. For those of you who are unfamiliar, let me set the stage. Written by bestselling author Jeneva Rose, who's celebrated for her sharp, suspense-driven narratives, The Perfect Marriage isn't just about crime. It's about the messy, raw, and often ugly sides of love, betrayal, and ambition. Fun fact, this book is so popular it was followed up by The Perfect Divorce, which continues the story, although today we're focusing solely on the first book. Our main character, Sarah Morgan, is a powerhouse, one of the best criminal defense attorneys in Washington, D.C. By age 33, she's made partner at the firm, and everything in her career seems, well, perfect. But her personal life? Not so much. Her husband, Adam, is a struggling writer who can't seem to get his big break. He's drowning in envy of her success, a jealousy that drives a wedge between them. And Sarah? She's so laser-focused on her work that she doesn't quite see the cracks forming in her marriage. The story takes a dramatic turn when Adam's mistress, Kelly Summers, is found murdered at the couple's lake house, and he's arrested for the crime. Now, here comes the ethical and emotional dilemma that catapults the story into high gear. Sarah decides to take on Adam's defense, choosing to stand by his side even though their marriage is already hanging by a thread. It's this choice, this fusion of personal loyalty and professional duty, that sets the tone for the entire book's gripping exploration of trust, betrayal, and justice. Let me share a standout line from the book that gives a glimpse into Sarah's inner turmoil. She says, "Defending him isn't just about proving him innocent. It's about proving that I didn't misread who he was, that his betrayal isn't all there is to our story." Isn't that powerful? It's a subtle yet profound reflection on how intertwined identity and loyalty can be in relationships. What makes The Perfect Marriage so captivating isn't just the murder mystery. It's the layered characters, like Sarah's relentless drive and Adam's deep insecurity, that add so much depth to the story. Their emotions, the raw pain, the mistrust, and even the quiet moments of vulnerability, pull you deeper and deeper into the narrative. By the end of the first few chapters, you're left wondering, is Adam truly guilty? Or is there something far more sinister at play? And honestly, that's the magic of Jeneva Rose's writing. You'll think you've figured it out, but the twists keep coming. We'll get into more of the book's exploration of betrayal and manipulation in the next chapter. But for now, just reflect on this. How far would you go to protect someone you love, even when they've shaken your trust to its core? To really peel back the layers of The Perfect Marriage, we need to talk about betrayal and manipulation, which are at the very core of this story. This isn't just a thriller about solving a murder. It's about how deceit can erode trust in relationships, leaving us questioning what's real and what's not. Let's start with Adam, an aspiring writer trapped in the shadow of his wife's professional success. His infidelity, let's be honest, is more than just a betrayal of vows. It's almost a rebellion against a life where he feels small and powerless. Adam's affair with Kelly Summers unveils his selfishness and moral ambiguity. It paints him not as purely villainous, but as someone deeply flawed, which makes him, and this might sound odd, compelling in his weaknesses. You can't help but ask, Is it guilt driving him? Or is there something even darker lurking beneath the surface? Sarah, meanwhile, is fascinating in her restraint. She takes this enormous emotional weight, the humiliation of Adam's betrayal, and channels it into trying to save him. It's a decision that splits readers down the middle. On one hand, you admire her strength and composure. On the other, Adam's actions make you question if he's even worth saving. And what's hauntingly ironic is how her choice to defend him becomes its own kind of manipulation. She has to manage public perception, the courtroom narrative, and even her own emotions to piece together the life she thought she had. Think back to the scene where Sarah confronts Adam after learning about his mistress. I mean, talk about tension. It's written so vividly, you can feel the air crackling between them. One line really stood out to me. "You broke us long before this case started, Adam. I'm only trying to stop the pieces from turning into dust." Doesn't that just say it all? The pain of betrayal and the strength it takes to hold things together when everything feels like it's falling apart. And here's the thing about manipulation. It's not always as overt as someone twisting another's arm. Sometimes it's in the quiet justifications. The moments when someone convinces themselves they're doing the right thing despite all the evidence pointing otherwise. And this book gives us such an intimate look at those moments. It reminds me of a similar plot twist in another thriller. I won't spoil it for those who haven't read it, but it's that same gut-punch realization that the betrayal isn't just about the act itself. It's about how deeply it cuts into your sense of identity and trust. And The Perfect Marriage does such a brilliant job of pulling us into that emotional weight. Betrayal and manipulation aren't just plot devices here. They're the lens through which we view these characters. They're what make Adam so morally murky and Sarah's choices so heartbreakingly complicated. And isn't that what makes a story compelling? When you can't easily assign blame or neatly resolve motivations, because, well, people aren't always neat, are they? So here's a question to ponder. How much of what Sarah does for Adam is about proving his innocence, and how much of it is about proving something to herself? It's that duality that keeps the tension simmering throughout the book. As we approach the final stretch of our discussion on The Perfect Marriage, let's take a step back and reflect on what made this story so compelling. Isn't it fascinating how Jeneva Rose weaves tension not just from the murder mystery, but from the raw, emotional unraveling of the characters? It's really this interplay of Sarah's steely determination clashing with Adam's vulnerability that carries the weight of the narrative, more so even than the case itself. Now, one of the most striking aspects of the book is its structure. By alternating between Sarah and Adam's perspectives, Jeneva Rose doesn't just tell us a story. She places us inside a marriage already on the verge of collapse, amplifying every betrayal, every choice, every word left unspoken. And that fundamental question, could Adam really kill, simmers beneath every chapter, pulling readers deeper into the web of uncertainty. It's masterful storytelling. And then, of course, there are those plot twists, the kind that make you close the book, stare into space for a moment, and think, wait, what just happened? Some readers, especially on TikTok and other communities, have echoed just how effectively this book kept them guessing, flipping their theories upside down with every chapter. Sure, not every twist feels plausible, but isn't that part of the fun? Letting a book surprise you, even outrage you, as it plays with your expectations? I read a comment on Goodreads the other day from a reader who described The Perfect Marriage as a mirror, not a perfect one, but a distorted reflection of our own flaws and fears when it comes to loyalty, betrayal, and trust. And isn't that what makes it resonate? These characters, for all their extremes, feel achingly human. We can find slivers of ourselves within their doubts, their regrets, their justifications, even their mistakes. So whether you were rooting for Sarah, sympathizing with Adam, or just reveling in the chaos of it all, this book leaves us with a lot to consider. If trust is the foundation of any relationship, The Perfect Marriage asks us to question, how much trust can we bear to lose before the entire structure comes crumbling down? Before we close today, I want to personally thank all of you for joining me in this literary exploration. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Book Club Lounge, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the book. And if this discussion has sparked your interest, there's a link in the episode description to grab your own copy of The Perfect Marriage. Your support means so much and helps the show continue to dive into stories like this one. And so, as we leave Sarah and Adam's world behind, I'll leave you with one final thought. Sometimes the most intricate mysteries aren't crimes, but people, flawed, unpredictable, and endlessly layered. On that note, take care, and I hope to see you next time on the Book Club Lounge. Keep reading, keep questioning, and above all, keep wondering.